the point of reference when we do feng shui is your house. Okay, and then we look at 400 meters radius. Like what's going on in that area? So that's 70%. And then the 30% is the internal. We look at the main door, we look at the location of the stove, we look at the location of the bed, we look at the location of the desk. Okay, so the main door is usually the entry point of the energy. It does not enter through the window or through the holes, whatever. It's only enters through the main door because that's the active entry. People pass by through that, okay? And then, of course, the stove, that governs health. So if you think na lang masakit ang mga bata, or for example, masakit ang mom, after maayo ang mom, then the dad will follow, and then the children will follow, and then it's endless sickness and illnesses. Look at the location of the fire, or where the stove location is, because that talks about the health. Now, if you talk about the bed, it talks about relationship naman. So let's say, for example, in this house, you notice na always fight, conflict, there's always a separation of marriage. Let's say, for example, that's why before you even start renting a place or buying a property, you have to know the history of the house. Like, what is the history of the house? If, for example, you wouldn't know about feng shui, or you have no access to a really good feng shui master. So one of the ways would be knowing the history of the house, because the landform affects the relationship and the location of the bed as well.
The size of the bed doesn't matter, no?
Actually, the material.
The material, not the size.
Not the size. But of course, if you're big, and then you have a small bed.
Hindi, kung duha mo kubo, kay magtiayon mo, pag man single bed lang.
Single. Or pag perfect ka mag-away, kay mabuga mo sa. Okay, and then, of course, the desk. Because when there's a good location of the desk, we call it the power position, then you'll have more good ideas, you'll be more productive, there will be, you can think properly, you have sharp mind, and you can do action as well. So these are the internal, but let's go back to the 70% external, because that's bigger part of feng shui. So let's say, for example, in a place where there are a lot of trees, okay, the trees, they're not feng shui, but they're aid to feng shui. Meaning, the energy flow, it's all around us, but there has to have something in that property wherein you can retain the energy. Because then the energy is depleted, that's when it's always init, diba? Init kaayo, and then people are always parang,
So trees are good.
Trees are good.
The big ones, kanang mga dagko, kaysa ato mga natay tinuhuan, basta dagko ang mga mga punuan. Na ay nagpuyo ko no, kusog ko na kay energy.
Well, somehow I also do believe on mga spirits sa mga trees, but they won't naman harm us if we don't harm them. I also do respect them, and when I do feng shui, and when my client would say, do you do space clearing and all that, and I would say, well, I am not trained on that. We can get someone else to do that for you. Yeah, because of course we have to, there's living things, Okay, now, back to your question about big trees and all that. Of course, when your house is tiny and you're surrounded with trees, so that's overwhelming energy also. Yeah, so in feng shui, what we need is balance. Yeah, we need balance. There has to be mountain behind for support, and there's water in front for tapping into wealth. Okay, now, for normal feng shui knowledge, the one that you mabasa nimo sa papers or sa books or sa online, they would say that, as long as there's water, there's wealth. Yes, because wealth is actually an energy source, a wealth source, water. But in my lineage, in my feng shui system, there are two wealth source, the mountain and the water. Yes. So proximity, at least there's 400 meters away from the point of reference, which is your house. Now, what is the logic behind mountain and water? Okay, so of course, they said, I always can hear this na, Cebu is very fortunate because we're surrounded by mountains, right? Yes, because when the energy comes from the water, and then kung walay mountain, the energy is through and through. Walay maka-hold. Walay maka-retain sa energy. Right? So when there's plants around your house, when there's water, let's say there's a big water feature there, like a swimming pool and water feature, it can retain because the energy is coming from the mountain, it's dispersed by the wind, and then it's being captured by water. So the only element that can capture the water is two, fire and water. Yes. But mostly when we talk about wealth, it's always the water. Because if there's no aid to that, then the chi is depleted. You cannot use it. You cannot use it. It's not usable. When I say usable, meaning to say, you always go into bad luck.
That's why ba, Master, na asay uban nga, wala gyud sila'y kabutangan ba, og kahoy, panlitan, magbutang na lang sila plants in replacement of trees? Or is it important
Plants is good. Plants. If you go to my house, it's surrounded with plants, good, and water as well. Kasi if we talk about feng shui and energy flow, come to think of it. Okay, how can let's say I'll talk about the misconception, right? How can a charm that they say, oh, let's put this here, let's put this there, how can a single little or a big one affect your life? How can that affect your decision and your mindset? So we are here to share to our viewers that, don't waste your money on buying these things. Yeah, right?
Yeah, kaning mga gingon nimo, Master Judith, this can also apply to offices, businesses, government buildings. Di lang kay balay, no?
Yes. Churches also.
Churches, yes.
Big, everywhere. Because the chi cannot naman identify if it's a government office or a house or commercial. It's very, very important that you have to invest on knowing if the place or the house or the building has good energy flow. Otherwise, you invest on something and then at the end you will realize that it's not making money, right? It's not making money. There's so much conflict. There's so much loss of wealth. But if you invest on like a consultant that can identify in the first place if that area is good, that would really save you a lot of money.
Yeah, ang gusto siguro mahibawan sa publiko,
Yes.
Based on your cosmic trinity, kaning heaven lock, kaning earth lock, o man lock, when you talk about, let's say, sa heaven lock in terms of sa numbers ni siya siguro, no?
Yes.
When it comes to 2023 for the Philippines, how do you look at it based on what's your point of reckoning? 1896 or June 12 for the birthday of the Republic?
Okay. Well, if I look at the luck of the Philippines, I look at the flying star feng shui chart. Okay. Now, in feng shui, there are a lot of systems that the masters are using. Depends na lang kung what system she or he is using. But when we talk about divination or talk about forecast, because when you say forecast, there's always a point of reference, because I don't fortune tell. So let's say, for example, for 2023, and when we talk about the Philippines, it's the southeast location of the world, correct? Yes. So, and then in the 2023 flying star, the conflict star is in the Southeast Asia. So when the conflict star is there, so people are more combative, more argumentative, more opinionated, and all that. So we have this energy coming from the southeast, affecting the people of the Southeast Asian countries, wherein people are more open to communicate, express themselves. But I hope that, when it comes to conflict, there's also a good side and a bad side to it. I'm not really saying that it's always bad, but sometimes conflict can also trigger, what do you call this, peace? I mean, changes, restoration, right? Things like that. So when we're aware that this is the energy that's going on in the Southeast, people would be more patient, people would be more understanding, people would communicate more better, because conflict will always be there. But when you know that the energy is, when you're aware that the energy is a little bit, on the negative side, and you don't want to lose more opportunities, you don't want to lose more supporters and all that, you would be more calm, relaxed. You'll take time to make better decisions. You will consider other options. You'll consider people, listening to them, right?
How about for Earth luck for the Philippines in terms of their livelihood, their work?
Okay.
What's 2023 holding for us?
Okay, so when we talk about economics, we talk about that, right? Exactly. So 2023, the first half of the year, or especially after February 4, because the energy changes after February 4. So water-related industries are positive. Okay? 2023 is the year of the yin water, yin wood rabbit. So there are two elements that's playing in 2023. Okay, now, so people, based on their patsu, by the way, is a destiny reading tool that can read your destiny chart for the year, or any year, if you will. So water-related businesses such as transportation, logistics, deliveries, cargo, supply chains, surveillance, water. When you talk about water, it's movement, it's communication, it's transportation, and all that. So these are in the first, say, let's say 3 to 6 months. And the last 6 months, this is where the economic might be a little bit volatile.
Is electricity included as part of the part of supply from logistics, communication, etc.?
Electricity is more of the fire element thing. Electronics, right? Because electronic will only be used when there's electricity, if I'm not mistaken. But in the last 6 months, this is where, because in the first 6 months the water is strong, and then the last 6 months the fire is weak because it's being countered by water. So economics might be a little bit volatile. What else? The fire-related businesses would be electronic, electrical, gaming, IT, code programming, software, digital, food, and beverage. So if you are in this kind of industries, you really need to prepare. Let's say you are listening to this interview, and now you're aware that, oops, I'm into fire business industry related. So I make sure that in the first 6 months, I'll be doing more of the marketing. I'll be doing more of my social media. I'll be checking on my menus. What's the trend now? What's the food that people like? So you have to start planning. You have to start talking to your marketing team. How can we, up our game, level it up? Because there's a divination, or there's a forecast that the fire related industries will be going to be weak in the second half of the year.
So this is more on guidance, no, for our viewers,
Yes.
on what to do. Kay nagisgot man si Master earlier nga nasa tay free will. So if we're not doing something to counter that,
Yes.
destiny of us this year, we might fail good with our businesses and all.
Correct. So this patsu, which is our heaven lock and your earth lock, these are really for you to have an awareness, clarity. So people would say, I don't want to know my destiny or my chart because I'm scared.
Yeah.
But when you know better, you do better.
How about the man luck for the Philippines? Man luck.
Well, because this is going to be a busy year. So, the resource is there, the water is there, but at the end of the day, if you will not move, if there's no hard work, because if I say that water and wood are the elements that, if for example, if water and wood is positive based on your birth details, then this is the year that you should maximize. Because the energy is saying, the energy is flowing well with you. But say in your destiny chart, water and wood are not are the negative elements, then this is the year that you should double your effort. Meaning to say you need to be more cautious with your decisions, and you should start planning already. How can I make sure that I can sustain my wealth in the next 12 months? But you will only know your destiny chart if you're going to come for a reading. If you'll be open for a reading.
Would it be possible for us to, put an animal sign for the Philippines in terms of its birth date? Or does the Philippines? What is the Philippines basically? I don't know if somebody has ever asked this question. Is it a rooster? It is what? How is it a monkey? What is it?
Yeah. Well, based on the system that I'm using, the animal signs are just representation of the 5 elements. So the animal signs have no bearing, but the elements that the animal signs are carrying. Let's say, for example, rabbit.
Yes.
Okay, this is easy because in the olden times, this is how they communicate with the farmers when the education was not very strong then. So let's say the season, like the season of spring, which is the tiger and the rabbit, the season of fire, which is the snake and the horse, which is the summer, and then comes to autumn, which is the monkey and the rooster, which is the metal, and then winter, which is the pig and the rat. So these are just really representation, but what is this? What is the element behind it? So let's say, for example, for the rabbit year, people born on the year, the month, the day, and the hour of the rooster will have a clash in 2023.
Going back to my question, could we also assign an animal sign for the Philippines in order to get some kind of elements to have a broadcast of how the future would look like, or a forecast?
Well, I need to go back to the flying star chart, which is wood, which is the star of conflict, which is the star of okay, if you say this is actually the rabbit sign, wherein it represents anger. It represents in the organ of the body, it represents the liver. And the liver, when there is anger issues, it's always the liver that is affected. And when there is liver problem, there's always because you're constantly angry. And when there's anger, there's always metal. There's always metal and wood clash. This is kind of technical, but there's always the opposite or the contrast of elements. So when there's wood, there's always metal countering the wood.
If people who are watching us, they'd like to find out, 2023 is a year for what animal sign?
Rabbit.
Rabbit, it
Yes,
is rabbit.
yes.
And then, if we're going to prioritize it, put some kind of a scaling. After the
Based on
rabbit,
elements.
based on elements.
Elements.
Which would be the next luckier one?
Well, when I do my forecast for that, I always look at the elements, not the animal signs, because it's more accurate that way.
Okay.
It's more accurate. It's more, let's say, for example, for the rooster, which is the yin metal, and rabbit is yin wood. There's the conflict there. So because in my years, in my 13 years, when I talk about priority, it's only talking about the 25%, which is based on the year pillar. But when I talk about the luck of the person for the 2023, I look at the year, the month, the day, and the hour that the person was born. So it's more accurate that way. They can use the information better. Because when you use the year pillar and they will say, oh, I'm in the number 12 luck. So meaning I don't have a luck in 2023. And that will give the person so much depression.
Yes.
And then you don't even go there and tell the person, oh, this is how you do it. This is the strategy. Okay? This is how you will maneuver in 2023 so that you can bring yourself up and, still be successful in 2023. Because for me, it's so unfair to give your forecast or your what do you call this? Let's say the luck of the person, but not giving him the tools on how the person can navigate.
how about we talked about business. How about for love? How's that? Because these are the basic
Is this
appetites for
is it the
humanity.
time
no?
for love?
Yeah, business, love, and all these things.
Okay, so if I look at the Flying Star Feng Shui chart of 2023, the love star is in the center. So I think even if there's conflict or if there's disaster and all that, people will be more compassionate. People are more loving. In 2023, people are more understanding because of the energy which is situated at the center of the earth. So, of course, I will not say that there will be no ups and downs because of the elements continuous flowing. But if you can manage yourself well, if you can manage your mental health, your physical health, I think you would be better. You would do better in 2023.
And it's a good thing to hear, but we also have control over these things. Okay, sometimes we're hearing readings telling us nga, murag bati gyud imong tuig, and some are sulking and diri na lang siguro kukutob.
Correct, Ange. So for me, my approach to destiny reading or feng shui is to tell them that it's always about balance, Eric. It's at the end of the day, even if you are not going through good luck this 2023, but if you're able to manage that luck, then at the end of the day, you would be able to save yourself and your family.
Is there such a, we with the feng shui that we know is very, very elementary, what we see on television.
Yes.
So that's why it's almost like a slum book question. Is there such a thing as a 2023 color for everyone to be, for heaven to give us some form of luck?
For colors is very personalized. Let's say, for example, me, I'm a very strong water day master. So fire and wood would be okay for me. And then let's say, for example, for others. So, but colors is not feng shui. Colors is also not pots. It's more of psychological. Yeah, so it's very important to know that your luck will not change by using colors. But if you feel good about, let's say, today, and then you have a meeting and you feel good about white, and you don't know for whatever reason you like white, then just wear white, and you'll be more confident, you'll be more prettier, and you will be more flowing. Yes.
True na da kay kapila ko nag-ilis for today. Bitaw. Namalahi mang gyud ma-feel nimo if that's for you. Talking about misconceptions, Master Judith, unsa pa may angay mahibaw-an sa atong mga viewers about misconceptions of feng shui kay magtanaw mo sila numbers, colors,
Yes.
unsa pa ba kana mga gems and everything.
Okay, so wind chimes. They put wind chimes on in their houses. But in the spirit side, they said that the wind chime can also attract, not feng shui, right? This is not feng shui. But I just heard that in some of my spiritualist friends, the sound of a metal sometimes is not also very positive. It sometimes too harsh. It attracts a different kind of spirit. So, but that's not feng shui, by the way. You can do your research on that. Okay, now this is very important. When you go to malls, you see that waving cat.
Yes. Everywhere sa tanang businesses.
No, that will not change the luck of the store. And then we have the bagua.
Yeah.
Aqua. Bagua is actually a mathematical tool wherein they use it in olden times to get directions. Okay? And then, of course, the bracelets and all that.
Morning, Master Judith, morning katong nay sa amin sa tunga, no?
Yes.
Oo,
Yes.
so, kuhan ko na kaning, I've seen that in houses, no? In Makati, nga, kanang mga dagkong balay, natumbok, butangan nila, kuhan, pakwa or bakwa.
Sa front door nila.
Sa front door na. Does that really help or wala ra na?
No, it does not. It does not deflect the energy. It does not. But when you have to relocate, if it's facing that tumbok, you have to relocate the main door. You have to shield. You have to shield the house with walls or more plants if you don't really want to go out to leave that area. You have to put water so that the chi can slow down before hitting, because when the cars, that's very fast, cheap coming from the cars. So, and then it will hit your house. That's going to be hard. So there will be sickness over there. There will be more conflict. There will be separation, arguments. It will not really take away the problem, but it will maybe somehow lessen, but it's still there. Because that she's still continually hitting your house in a very harsh way.
So for the New Year, Master, should we wear polka dots? Should we be eating sticky foods and the like?
I don't know really where that's coming from, but I think that's more of a Chinese tradition, more than than feng shui. Mm-hmm.
What do you think of those Feng Shui masters that it seems to be every day they're able to predict things based on your birth sign or your numbers, or is that another form of Feng Shui, or is it what is it?
Oh, well, if it's based on numbers, then that's the master is using numerology. That's another system. And if he's able to do forecast, so it could be a system coming from Flying Star. It could be a system coming from Patsu. So I wouldn't know what system the master is using. But if it can help people, why not? But if it can, guide people better, by, subscribing to that. Because for me, I believe that if your intention is really to help people, that's really good karma. Because if people don't have access or resources to get a legitimate feng shui master, then this forecast they can use, based on, let's say, horoscope, like the Western astrology or the Vedic astrology, then they should get good information from that.
How do we guard the public and guide them in the sense that, how will they know if a certain individual is a real feng shui master or a genuine feng shui master or master lang?
Well, number one, they have to research. That's manlak. Then you're researching, inquiring. If this is the master that I want to guide me, because at the end of the day, you are operating from that because you believe in this person, you believe that this person will make your life better. So they have to do research. Where did the master got her or his studies from what lineage, and then if there is an alignment, let's say the master is teaching about how to activate wealth and all that, or teaching how to be more healthy, the master should be healthy.
Guide us, Master Judith, because among experts like lawyers, they argue against each other. Doctors also have a first diagnosis. You get a secondary diagnosis. Do you also have conflicts among masters experts in the feng shui? And then how do you fix that and come up to a modus vivendi such that the client is not confused?
Conflict versus another feng shui master.
Yes.
I always been very respectful of other feng shui masters. Yeah, I believe that if the person is really someone that studied and worked hard to attain good knowledge, I respect that feng shui master, because I cannot do it all alone. I believe that the world needs more good feng shui masters. I believe. What was the question again about feng shui masters? I've never experienced a conflict with another feng shui master, because if I will work with a feng shui master in a certain project, I would work in harmony with the feng shui master.
Would it be better to have one good expert or a battery of experts to help you in your...
Depends on the project. Like what I know, there's a certain casino in Singapore wherein there were 5 feng shui masters to make sure that the money keeps in the house. but I will not say which one. But if this is a really, really huge project, sometimes we get the help of our colleagues, making sure that we believe in just one system. Because the problem will start when, if I'm using this system and you're using another system, that's when the conflict will start. Because we believe in our own, because we believe that our system is better, because it changed the life of the Feng Shui master. So, if I will be given a project, a huge project, I would, of course, get my own master. I would get the help of my other Feng Shui masters that believes in one system. Otherwise, I would decline, because if there's a conflict in the beginning, there will be conflict all throughout the project.
Would Feng Shui be very helpful for government buildings, for, let's say, City Hall and the capital? Does that really help? I mean, do you have
Definitely.
politicians and governors or mayors or public officials coming to you and say, can you please rearrange my office or my building?
Yes, I have already from City Hall. Yeah. But I have no permission to say his name. But I did the whole floor. No, not just the half of the floor. And now I have just finished a office in, let's say where, but because I have no permission. But I made sure that he is seated in a power position where the energy can align from where he is sitting. Whenever the door is open, let's say somebody will, he's in alignment to that. And I also designed his table in a way that he would be able to receive the energy. And from that, he would make better decisions. He will be well. I mean, his mind is clear. So that's one of the benefits of getting your office feng shui as well.
Speaking of energy flow on the Earth Lock, Master
Sure.
Judith, can you share to our viewers right now, what should they take into consideration at home, especially kinagisgot ka ganiha, about the internal forces that we should take into consideration?
Okay. So for feng shui, energy flow, I'm using this system called Sanhe. Sanhe is actually a Taiwanese lineage, wherein first we look at the external, where I locate where the wealth source is. Okay? So locating the wealth source. And then from the wealth source, I would be able to check the shape. Let's say, for example, I'm designing the feng shui flow. The shape, the structure, and then where should the main door be located. Okay. Now, for the viewers, let's say, for example, it's very important to know that the main door is tapping to wealth, and the quality of the energy entering to the main door is also very important. Okay, so when I say quality of the energy, is there a poison arrow in front of your main door? Now, what is a poison arrow? Number one, pole, tree. Okay, let's say, for example, your door is from here to here. Okay, so you need to make an imaginary line. Stand at your door, facing out. So you're looking outside, right? Yeah. And then look, is there a tree? Punuan. Is there a post, a pole, garbage bin, or a sharp edge of the roof coming from the silingan, from the neighborhood, hitting your main door? Because the energy coming from that area going to your main door, remember I said that this is the entry point of the energy, coming from that will be harsh. And then it will hit your main door. So that's why you guys are having those problems, issues, conflicts, or whatever it is that you're going through. It's because the main door is affected.
I'm sorry, what did you call that against for the
Poison arrows.
poisoned arrow? Daghan man ang poison arrows sa, let's say, like sa Kapitolyo o sa City Hall din Cebu City. When you're going there, passing by, do you see these kinds of things?
But is it in front of the main door?
Okay.
That will only affect if it's in front, like proximity-wise, it's really, really near. But if it's like 500 meters, dili na kaayo. That's too far na. Meaning to say, before it hits your door, nana na siya giagian na lain. Ni slow down na siya. But if it's like too near, let's say for example, 2 cars.
Uh-huh.
2 cars apart. And then there's this tree in front of the main door. You start thinking, where will I relocate the main door? Or putlon ba nimo? If you're a tree hugger, it's so hard.
Okay.
But otherwise, you have to put a partition or somewhere to shield that.
Master Judith, I'm sure you passed by our Cebu City Hall and then our capital.
Yes.
Just random observations, observations that would help as far as Feng Shui is concerned.
Sorry. Actually, the layout, because I went to one office in City Hall, where the location of the comfort room is in front of the table of the politician. So, internally, of course, I talk about comfort rooms, right? Okay, I went to the internal. Okay, you were asking me about the external, right? Okay, because suddenly it came into my head why I said like,
Murag opisina man tong Mike Rama imong na-mention. Kay namin sa CR sa iyang wala.
you know, if they will invite me to fix the city hall, I would really gladly, because I want to help the city really, especially our mayor. We just have to support him.
Giunahan ko nimo sa akong pangutana. Structure pa lang akong gigiunaw. Gidanon na so.
Okay,
so sa gawas lang. Imong random observation.
It's very important that the city hall is supported by a mountain, but it's not. It's supported. There's water behind. Actually, just like Malacanang, there's still water behind. So, mean to say, if there's water behind, there's really no support, and there's more of like their mind is not really that stable. That's why it's very important that when I do the feng shui or design the feng shui of a structure, I make sure that there's a backing at the back.
Cebu City Hall niya.
There's no mountain there. Actually, it's already the dagat na. Oo, dagat na. So for the city hall to have a backing, dapat it has to face the water so that the mountain is behind. I'm talking about the main door. The main door wherein people go in and out, because that's the entry point of the energy.
Same with the households, Master Judith.
Same as households, same as commercial business, everything. Because the energy will just flow. Like sometimes in the house, you go to a room, init, it's hot, and then you can't stay even 2 seconds in that room. But there's a room in the house where you feel so relaxed, now you can sleep right away. And then there's a room that you feel that you're always depressed. It's because of the energy flow.
Oo. And then ako lang i-ambit ni ang atong legislative building sa City Hall is facing Santo Niño. So how is that? There's a wide quadrangle kay sa mayor's office is the one facing the sea, no? And then katong sa legislative building is the one facing Santo Niño, more or less, di ba? So how is that?
I think there are 3 doors. Yeah, I saw it. 3 doors. So the chi is confused. When you have so much doors where the people can enter, so the chi is also depleted. Let's say you want an energy that is solid. You want an energy that is quality. You want an energy that is strong, positively strong. So when the chi is like a person, like you go to a house, asa man kumuagi? Precisely, right? So, and then you think of energy as water. You think of energy. It just flows. Kung na siya leak, makitan, dito siya. That's why door is always, because it's always there. Kita siya, entry point. So if you have so many doors in front, let's say your house, na door diri, and then you said, ako man hindi pa feng shui, yun nga naman still the problem is there. It's because the chi is confused where, especially if there's a CR behind, door, and then door na CR. So, and then the chi will go down to drain na yun because water, remember when I said a while ago that they are one of the elements that can hold chi is water. It's dispersed by the wind and being held by water.
How about the capital? As it is lang. Kaning random lang guni, istorya lang ni para
Sure.
lang
No problem.
we can pick up a few ideas.
Yeah. So I think behind the capital is the Maria Luisa mountain ranges. I know that because I've so much clients already in Maria Luisa until to the south. So I think the capital has better landform because it's facing the water. It's facing. There's a Guadalupe River over there, and then there's Subangdaco River. There's pero layo na kaayo ni siya, but the closest to capital is the Guadalupe River. Yeah, I know this because I have a client in Colon wherein I tap into the Guadalupe River. And then behind the Capitol building is the mountain ranges. So I think the health of the people in the Capitol, the employees, they're more happier over there. They're more healthy over there. They can think better because the chi is being contained. So imagine if there's a mountain and then there's a structure and then the wealth is coming from here, di man mulusot because it's being contained by the mountain. That's why Cebu is always fortunate because we have support.
Muna inahitabo nga murag nay usa ka tingog sa Kapitolyo tapos sa City Hall murag daghang kay mga tingog. Panginana.
But feng shui wise for me, we can help both.
Okay.
You know, there's for me at the end of the day, if we can just help each other and help the people that are on top and help them make better decisions, better health, mental health and emotional, physical, they can really do sharp decisions.
Before we go to our colleagues here for questions, tiwasan lang siguro nato,
Sure.
Master Judith, no, about, you've talked about the doors. Now let's talk about the location of the stove, the bed, and the desk for our viewers also.
Okay. So try to observe your family. Try to remember or try to see if you are constantly ill or one of the members, or if there's someone that is sick in the family na dili gyud siya maayo. It's really about the feng shui of the house. Now, okay, I'll just insert lang. Remind me lang about the question. That I also went to California, Mount Shasta, to study geomancy. Now, geomancy is the study of the earth below the earth. Feng Shui is the study of energy above the earth. So meaning sometimes it's because of the negative energy, which is the curvy lines, the Hartmann lines, fault lines. It's also that we have a tool also that we can locate if this room gives you that cancer, for example, or a disease that never goes away. Okay. I don't know the feng shui of everybody or where your house is located, or if one of your family members is going through sickness, but try to relocate the person that is ill to another room. See if that person will get better, because you cannot get well in a place that you got sick. Let's say, for example, in this room, you were diagnosed with cancer. So try to change room. Or if you guys thinking of relocating to another house or another city or another country, you do it as soon as possible. Because the possibility of the person getting better is high. Or better get a feng shui consultant to take care of that.
So, Padayon ta, Master, about katong locations of bed, the desk,
Yes.
the stove.
Bed. Okay. Now the stove, the bed is also helped because of course you sleep there, you stay there for 8 hours, right? And then the stove is the fire element. Now usually when there is problem with the stove location, it's always skin problem. Skin problem. Meaning to say, when you have a skin problem, throat, immune system, meaning the fire is located in an area where the metal is weak. Because metal in the organ of a person, it's called about, it represents immune system. So try to see if your kids have asthma, or, always sick because the immune system is very low, even if you have all the vitamins and all that. So the body is too weak to counter the element that is, giving that body in that area.
Kanang mirrors, kahit namin tayo mga sa amin sa atong mga balay, does that have an effect kung asa na mo ibutang ang mga
You don't have
mirrors? No problems.
It doesn't have.
No effect.
But
Okay.
although in the bedroom, they say in one of the systems out there that if the mirror facing the bed, it can actually affect the relationship because third party, because there's another person in the room. But actually, it's because when we talk about bedroom, the bedroom should be yin energy. Yin, meaning place of rest, place of restoration, rejuvenation, and all that.
Dili na siya fire.
No, hindi. Now, the mirror is yang. So imbalance. There's an imbalance there. So put the mirror somewhere it's not reflecting the bed. Just move it.
How about master ka ng ang bed dool sa kama or ang imong feet dool sa kama facing the bed, facing the bathroom or facing the doorway?
Okay, so that's what we call the coffin. The coffin position. Okay? Now, the coffin position actually makes sense because there's an energy coming from that comfort room and it's a dirty energy. Okay, so what you're just gonna do is just put a partition to block it, to block it, and then same way with the bed facing the bedroom door. Yes. So kusog kaayo siya, it's hard. So I know that some houses may not be that big, so you will have that problem.
So they can put desks or cabinets in tables in between
The
bed
tables,
and the door.
we make sure that, kasi the tables has like this,
Yeah.
it's through and through.
Yes.
So that the chick can still go through it.
How about kung side view lang ang kama sa banyo or sa doorway? Pwede
have
na
to-
nila kay gagmay magbalay, ilang side view instead of that coffin position.
Yes, but if you will not put a partition, the chick can still flow.
Naghantag kausaban ani sa tong household. Sa tanan natong viewers. Okay, this time we will open the floor for our visitors here from other media. Kanay gusto mo question? We also like to acknowledge Sir Jean from New Star, Nestle Similia from DYLA, and Miss Rowena Capistrano from DYRF, and also sa uban pod nato nga mga viewers karon online. Nestle, naki-question Nes? Anyone can approach the microphone.
Pastor Judith, maayong buntag.
Good morning.
Ma'am, sayod man ta nga dili gid ingon ana no ka barato, dili ingon ana kasayon ang pagpupungsoy sa balay. So unsaon man pila gyud igong kantidad aron makapapungsoy ang usa ka tao, unya unsa siya ka mahal or asa sa sila pwede makaadto nga mas makaya nila.
Okay. Fees. Okay. I have a website that they can go. That's JudithEugenioGlobal.com. So they can inquire over there the rates and all that. Or they can call your number, Andrea, right? Just give it to them later. But they can go to the website or they can send an email through info at juditheugenioglobal.com or to our Facebook page, Judith Eugenio Global. Price range.
Should they prepare 10,000 or 50,000? Or...
Okay. First, they have to. Should I? Yeah. I have to see the place because there are different services. Like if it's tilting the office table only, or if it's tilting the bed only, or if it's the whole house, and then if the house has been built, or if I have to work with their with their architect, like from ground up, end to end. So it varies. It varies. But if it's about destiny reading, that's another service that I do before the feng shui, because Patsu destiny reading is the analysis, but feng shui is the solution. Mm-mm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How about Nestle?
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi,
I'm
Nes.
Nestle Similia from DYLA. Ma'am, since we are in digital age, daghan pa bag mga ni tuo karon o nagpa-consult sa feng shui, especially kaning mga millennials or Gen Zs. How is the trend, ma'am?
Actually, I have politicians, thought leaders, business people, the Gen Zs, how old, how young are, what are the ages? Okay. Usually their mom would hire me to read for them. Yes. And then sometimes they're too young. Dili pa kayo mo register the reading, but some would take notes or record it. But mostly are the people who wanted to know what career to pursue, what business to invest, how they can better their relationship with their spouses, because it's also written in your Patsu chart on how you can better understand your spouse, or better understand your business partners, or better understand your children. It's all in the charts of these people. So, anything that you want to know, it's in your Patsu destiny chart.
Pila ka bug politiko so far, Master Judith ang generic. More or less in your lifetime, pila ka bug politiko?
In my 13 years, siguro mga 50 to 60 politicians.
I see. Tapos ang of course naging na mayor, no?
Governors.
Governors.
Vice governors.
And then how about higher congressman? Napod?
Yes, I have.
Senador. Wala pa.
I have.
Napod senador.
Yes.
Presidente nila wala pa. Naanasad.
There's this one that dili siya gyud nag one-on-one with me,
Okay.
but the assistant.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Napabatay questions? Again.
So makaingon ta ma'am nga trend gyapon ng feng shui bisad sa mga younger generation.
Okay. It's beginning. Because the period of 9, which is fire, which will start in 2024 onwards, 20 years, people will more open to astrology, to guidance, beauty and health, wellness. So, which is also including mental wellness, right? So, and then, since we are changing the trend on how we read charts, it's not the trend before. Now we use the fear tactic. Like, derecho. It's more of like reading, but not counseling. Like right now, I only tell them, manage when negative, maximize when positive, period. Because when you know better, you do better. Always start with clarity. So when the client will hear that, oh, okay, I have the tool, I have the strategy on how I can think of my next course of action. And this is actually more of being wise, right, Eric? Being wise about it, but not being fearful about it. So these kids, like the millennials, they have to know that there's someone like me and others also that can help them if they cannot talk to their moms, if they cannot talk to anyone. They can talk to Master Judith or Mommy Judith. I'm their second mom. I would really want that, that, they don't have to be afraid in knowing what's in store for them for this month, for this year, or for this day.
Thank you very much. And Sir Jean?
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
New Star Philippines, asentado and back to Tuburan Cable again next month.
Woohoo!
Ma'am, as I read, Feng Shui is announced as Feng in Chinese, which means air, wind, and Shui is water.
Yes.
Memory recalls me the movie Feng Shui. Naka-create man tuog ka ng bad image about
Correct.
Feng Shui. So, most of the people, murag nahadlok aning Feng Shui.
True.
Pero naay bawon gyapon nato nga magpa-Feng Shui gyud before they build their homes or apartments or buildings. Kung sa imong ikatambag ato nga movie ma'am nga makahadlok man kuno ang Feng Shui kay kung doon ka sa balay basig buk-on nimo mag-bad luck ka.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I cannot comment to that movie because there is really no body, parang governing body that can police them na, or don't use that word because it will give us a really, really negative name. But yes, it did somehow because people already are scared, afraid, and then that movie also added to that. But it's one of the misconceptions because I saw that movie and they used the bagua. The bagua. So I don't know where maybe it's coming from that na a bad spirit got into the bagua. I'm very open to anything. The possibility of anything that can happen. But them using the word feng shui in a movie, horror movie at that, was sad. Yeah, nasad ko. I got sad about that, but there's really nothing I can do about it. Nobody contest.
Feng Shui, ma'am, goes against any religion. How, in your practice, ma'am, doon na ba against na ining religion?
No, I'm a Catholic. I do pray. I believe that manlak, the faith is there. It's just really energy flow. That's also one of the misconceptions. One time, someone asked me, "Oh, Judith, what are you up to now?" I said, "Oh, I'm a astrologer. I'm a feng shui consultant. Oh, I'm sorry, but I can't talk to you because that's against our religion." I said, "No. It's not about that. It's all about energy flow. It's about situating your house and all that. Doesn't talk about religion." So yes, it's safe.
Another radio station, I hope nga nakadungog na kani Narding is also a feng shui, what you call it. But he already died, no?
When?
I hope na the same Narding to na, but balitaan ako. Pero he used to give us mga lucky charm. Like,
Yes, parang he used to write for another newspaper. Yeah.
is this okay, ma'am, ng mga lucky charm? Kay ang ubang religion, ngayon, bad luck, bad kuno ng lucky charm. Kaya kani siya is a feng shui man and who gives us mga lucky charms. Is that okay, ma'am?
In my system, we don't use charm. It does not affect your luck. But it's more of like psychological, which is mga 5% only. That you believe that this luck will give you, positive energy today. And when I go to my meeting, I would be able to say the right words at the right time. So somehow it will affect your man luck, conditioning and all that. And you will do better because it's all about mindset.
Two short questions, Master Judith, no? Itong bagwa nga you mentioned, na uba na yung mga tassels. Does it have any effect when you
No.
have tassels? Same.
Yes.
Just the same effect
The
of it?
tassel is usually red.
Yes.
And
yes.
they would say that if you put tassel na red or paint the house red or anything
So
red can
wala,
attract.
no effect na siya. Okay.
Wala.
The other thing is kanang mga stones ko no, because for energy ko no na siya. So is that also along feng shui or that's a different
Well,
system or
stones have
discipline?
another energy, Eric. But it's not feng shui. Like, for example, I'm wearing blue sapphire on my middle finger. This is Vedic astrology based on my birth date and birth time. Yeah, based on my patsu.
Something really specific na for an individual.
Individual.
So thank you very much for the questions coming from the media. Before we end, Master Judith, do you have anything more to say sa tanan ng viewers karon sa My TV Cebu?
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me again. And if you want to get in touch with us, just go to our Facebook page and Instagram page, that's Judith Eugenio Global, or send us an email at info@juditheugenioglobal.com. And try to consider getting a reading, a destiny reading, if you have the resources. Consider getting a Patsu destiny reading or a feng shui consultation, because it can tremendously change your life for the better. But if you don't have the resources yet, you can use your man luck, your hard work, your ability to earn money the right way. Always be positive. It's not always a negative day, but know that the energy flows. Energy changes every 2 days. So let's say, for example, for these 2 days, you are very stressed. In the next 2 days, the energy will change. So if you are in a situation right now in your life wherein you feel that like there's no hope or you're struggling and all that, know that the energy changes. All you need to do is just move.
Modalikit lang kong pangutana, Master Judith, no? Naibang mga kama nga puthaw, naibang kama kahoy, o naiuban bamboo.
Correct.
Nabanay kuan, does that affect a person sleeping?
Yes. In one of my systems, we only use wood bed with a very solid headboard. Because when the energy enters in the bedroom door, it hits first the headboard, and then the headboard hits you. Now, if the headboard has many holes, it depleted, it's dispersed.
Kunay kutsyon, kaning kutsyon ng kuan or kanibang ang imong headboard is made out of cushion or it's decorated with leather and then cushion. Does that also affect your sleep?
It will also, but it's better to get a wood headboard, solid. Yes. There's so many things that I wanted to share, maybe in the next guesting.
Thank you very much, Master Judith.
Thank you so
and I
much.
hope that ang atong mga viewers learned. I've learned a lot this morning, and especially some misconceptions about feng shui. So, Sir Eric, we will close the program for today's episode. But of course, next week na sa tayong mga guests.
Patikim lang ito
Yes.
sa feng
So good
shui.
pa lang.
Para nanapod nato siya, we can invite again Master Judith. Ug ay kalimot ha, kung hey fatchoy, kung hey watchay.
And again, thank you very much to all our viewers na nagtanaw nato online. And of course, sa tanang ni Anhe karon sa atong Openline News Forum. And reminders lang sa tanang viewers, kay the last days we celebrated the Fiesta Señor. Let's not forget by January 2023, by Friday, napasay Hubo Mass, part of the 458th Fiesta Señor dito gihapon sa Basilica Menor del Santo Niño at 4 in the morning. So, this has been Angelica Faisanyal for Openline News Forum.
And Eric Espina.
Dagang salamat ug maayong buntag kanatong tanan.
Very good.